Welcome to this edition of the Beacon of Light podcast. We're here with Diane Hunt and Lifewave,
Correct.
right? I remembered.
Yes.
The name is, and you had mentioned before, Beacon. Well,
Yes.
and we talked about, we'll circle back to the beacon aspect.
There are no coincidences.
No accidents.
Right.
Everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to. To my point, I was going to the gym and I was late. I was in a hurry to go work out.
Right.
I get to the top of the stairs and I see this man, an older man, right?
Yes.
Like in his late 70s.
81.
Okay, so he's 81.
Yes.
Okay, it's out. We know who this man is, don't we? He's got this patch. And I asked him what the patch was, knowing it wasn't a nicotine patch, and he didn't look like a nicotiner.
Right.
Is that me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to turn my cell phone off. You ever get these annoying phone calls? Just bug the living out of you? Happens to me all the time. This is like a little piece. Yeah, I'm just going to turn it off. We're not going to edit that part out, by the way.
No, we're not.
No, we're going to leave that
This is
part.
real life.
It's real life. I mean, they bug the crap out of me, but I got to
Yes.
answer these calls. So,
Another addiction.
well, yeah, by design. So I asked him what this patch was that he's wearing. And he says, I used to have whatever. We'll talk about whatever
Right.
that is. And I don't anymore. Well, what do you mean? Well, it's this stem cell, right? Patch. And that's where he started to say some stuff. And then he said, my daughter, by the way, what illness did your dad have that he no longer has now?
Yes. So it was a few things going on for him, all stemming from inflammation in the body, which is pretty much 99% of all our things we have. The main things were gout, so buildup of uric acid
And
in the
let me
body,
just,
a lot of pain in
Let
the
me
joints.
just chime in real quick. These things we're talking about, the first one you mentioned is gout. You're going to talk about some other things. I'm going to say to you or ask you, these are situations and problematic things that are in his life that have been there for a minute, right? Like
for a while.
Well, yeah, it's like, so this gout, and we're going to talk about the others, but all these things we're going to talk about, he has experienced for a long time.
Correct.
Okay, number 2.
Plantar fasciitis.
Oh, wait. What does that mean? I didn't know either. What does it mean?
So, yes, great question.
Yeah.
Again, anything itis is inflammation. Arthritis, plantar fasciitis. So it's usually the curvature of your sole on your foot is very inflamed. So when people get up out of bed, it's excruciating pain they feel. Usually people probably go around with a pain level of 7 to 10 when they have that. And then the third thing that he dealt with for a long time was sciatic nerve pain.
Hold on. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I've had 4 children. I've heard a lot about that.
Okay, well, I did not know what that was. Right there.
It's a nerve that runs from your lower back all the way down your leg.
Well, at all.
No, not at all.
No. So he's got these 3 things happening at the same time or in various times.
All at the same time at this point.
Now, I'm going to stop you real quick because I saw your dad again because I got really sick, right?
Right.
And when I did, I stopped wearing the patch.
Right.
Because I bought like 3 months worth, just so you know. I
Correct.
still have some. I do.
Okay.
Well, because here's why. Is this really working for me? I say to myself.
Right.
Then I got really sick, like, ugh,
Right.
right? So then I saw your dad again. There's an accident right there, right? No, I don't. I mean, he's
Right.
walking in, I'm walking
Right.
out. I mean, or whatever.
Right.
And I say to
Divine
him,
appointment.
yeah. So I say to your dad, and he's such a good guy, your dad.
He really is.
I mean, he's such a good man. He really, really is.
Absolutely.
You know, but I'm like, and I forgot his name,
Yes, Roger.
Roger. I didn't say that. I said I forgot your name, but and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if the patch is actually achieving, and I honestly don't even know what I want it to achieve.
Right.
And I don't know if there's a tangible defining moment where I say to myself, yep, it's working.
Right.
Okay, now, and at this point in the conversation with your father, I'm sharing this with him, and he says to me, well, you get to know, and he gave me the list of things you just went over. I used the patch for 4 months
Yes.
before I had my aha, like, wait a minute. Now, let's go back to me and the patch. I got sick. I stopped taking the patch.
Right.
Okay. I started taking the patch again. Now, you don't know what I'm going to say right now.
I have no idea.
None
This
whatsoever.
is not scripted.
Okay. But something really bizarre. Because remember the first time I started with the X39 and 49 at the same time.
Right.
And almost fell over in the shower because I got real dizzy. You're like, whoa, okay, you need to back off and da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay. And I don't know which ones are the 39s or which ones are the 49s when I'm putting one on. You get to know that. I have no idea.
You just
have
have them all together?
I got them in 2 plastic baggies.
Oh.
And honestly,
They come in separate,
I
so
know,
you mix
but
them.
no, I didn't mix them. I took them out of the container that they came in, and I put them in a plastic baggie separately. 39's in this one, 49's in that one. Not in the container that's clearly labeled in a plastic baggie.
On the back, though, they do say X39 or X49. Just so you know.
Might be
in
helpful.
fine print.
Yes.
You might need your glasses to look, but
Note to self, learn how to read or pay attention. But back to the story.
right.
Okay. I started retaking the patches Monday, last Wednesday
Okay.
or Thursday. Don't know which one's going on. It doesn't matter to me.
Right.
I wake up Monday morning and it was, I'm not, it's different. I'm different,
Right.
right? I'm going to suggest, I don't know if this is weird. Your father had these physical
Right.
things. Is it possible? Where's my tinfoil hat? Possible that it can actually benefit us in a different way. In the sense that my speech, it's slower right now. My mind is much clearer.
Right.
I have, with reference to Beecon Recovery, you mentioned Beecon earlier, off
Right.
air. We thought we were on air, but we weren't. Nonetheless, there's a lot of stuff happening with Beecon, a lot of moving parts.
Right.
Talking to my therapist about this morning. I'm different. My mind, I'm slower.
But in a good way.
Oh my gosh.
Not so anxious,
Well,
like energy.
100%, right?
Right.
And I have often referred to as I want to be Mr. Spock, right?
Yes.
He's on the bridge. The Klingons are floating over there, pissed off, right?
Right.
And they're not happy. And right about the time that happens, Scotty calls. For those of you who don't know, Scotty is in the engine room, and we're at 10% power. And Spock knows in his head immediately, well, at 10% power, we have about, 3.2 minutes left before those shields come down. They're going to know it, and when they do, we're going to be obliterated. It's a lot of problems.
Yes.
Right about that time, Kirk walks in with mad cow disease, and he's trying to kill Spock. And through all that's happening, Scott, he keeps his head. He grabs Kirk by the throat,
Right.
who's flailing around trying to get at him, but he's got these, Spockin powers, Vulcan, I believe. He then calls down to the engine room and says, hey, Scotty, did you happen to hit remember, this is happening over here, trying to get killed. Did you happen to hit the flux capacitor switch? I didn't think of and he does. He keeps his head.
It's so interesting you're bringing all this up.
With what's in front of me, right?
Yes.
By the way, we're going to make another podcast when this one's over that's going to blow you away me and Sarah,
Right.
right? But I have to keep a clear head. And I am not kidding you. I woke up Monday morning and I'm like, this is different. Could it be the patch?
Absolutely.
Stop it right now.
Well,
I mean, oh, that was supposed to be humor. You didn't. I thought that was seriously though. Something shifted that I
I
can
hear
actually.
it over and over again. Yes.
So as I'm listening, and I'm sure that anyone else who's listening is hearing, Tony, your experience and wanting to hear from you, Diane, how is this working? What's happening?
Yes.
How is all of this
Thank
going
you for
on?
bringing that up, but I had to set this up because I experienced it myself in real time, which is, by the way, we'll get to that in a minute. Everything I'm doing, this guinea pig that I'm experiencing,
Yes.
is for the patients at Beecon Recovery.
Absolutely.
Now I can say, guess what? Now, back to Sarah's question. And by the way, that was a lengthy intro, but I had to say it that way
Right.
because I lived it.
And I love that you lived it, and I love that you question it. Is it working? I love that my dad had to go 4 months without feeling anything
Yeah.
for him to we're all so different. So what works for me in 24 hours might take for you, a few times.
Or you might have to get off of it because you
Yes.
got sick and then go
Yes.
back on it. Now, to Sarah's question, which is a great question.
It is.
I mean, come on. It's just, again, I can't show you mine because I got it in the
I
back.
have mine.
Oh, well, you can't see mine because I got it on my
I
spine.
know you have it where it should. I mean,
Yeah.
I just do mine.
But sometimes I have to switch from my spine to my arm because it creates a rash back there.
It can. And
Yeah.
especially since you took a break sometimes.
Well,
There needs to-
because I'm putting it, I'm putting it as best I can tell in the exact same spot. Okay, now, what do you mean stem cells? I mean, are you talking
Right.
like the stem cells that were like when a baby is born, stem cells like that?
Yes.
When a baby
But
is
your
born,
own stem cells.
right? But a baby is born, it's
We're
producing a
all
large
born
number of stem
with
cells,
stem cells.
probably more than any time in our life.
Right. A set amount. But as we age, those stem cells start to die off. Go dormant is a better word. And so what this patch does,
Wait, what did the stem cells do for us? What's the benefit of those stem cells?
everything. They
Oh.
keep us young, help us recover quick, keep our bones strong, keep our minds strong, everything. And so
Okay,
that's how the aging process starts as these stem cells start to die off. By the age of 30, if we're lucky, we're only working with 40% of the stem cells we were born with. By 60, 10% if we're lucky.
wait, are you telling me that I look like I'm 60? Because
No, but I'm just
that
saying
kind
the
of hurt my
facts.
feeling. I mean, she looked right at me when she said that.
I did this, 50, 60, we're getting there.
Nice save.
So,
Good
yes.
save. Yeah, good.
So this is not even, there's what? The big craze is
These are stem
anti-aging.
cells
It's age reversal.
that our body already has the capability of producing,
Right.
correct? But it stops doing it as we get older.
Right.
As, like, say for me, when I was in my 40s, my eyesight started going away, which caused me to have to put these on,
Right.
right? Your body's going to change. And as it gets older, you're suggesting that the stem cell productivity that was through the roof when you were a baby
Yes.
has fallen off big time.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now you're suggesting that this little brown patch, can you hold it up again?
White patch size of a quarter.
Yeah. You're going to say that little thing is doing what again?
It's activating your dormant stem cells to bring you to a younger state
How
healthier.
does it do that?
with light. And so my simplest explanation is we all say, I'm going to go in the sun and get vitamin D. Now, we're not getting vitamin D. The sun's not giving us vitamin D. It's actually stimulating with light frequency from the sun our body's own vitamin D levels.
Hold
to
on.
elevate.
Wait. Hold on. Wait. Let's just hold up. Are you suggesting to everybody that can hear you speaking that the light that this little thing
Yes.
is inside of you?
Yes.
Stop it
Exactly
right
what I'm
now.
saying. That's why there are no coincidences.
So wait, you're suggesting then, and I want everybody to go back to the podcast we did with Justin, who you don't know,
No.
right? But we talk about the fact that we are all light.
Says it in the Bible.
Hmm.
Well, at the time of conception, there's a spark of light that begins the journey of light.
I've experienced that spark of light so I had my first child when I was 22 years old. And when I was in the Instacare, not knowing yet that I was pregnant, and I had all these like intellectual ideas about termination of pregnancy and ethics, and I was like, it's no big deal, whatever. And then the nurse, I was sitting across from her, and she said, "You're pregnant." And the second that I can still feel it right now as I'm telling you, the second that she said that to me, there was a literal fire that went through my entire body, and my daughter became real in that moment. And I can feel her right now and that was it. And what I knew was, this is an actual thing. Like, this is real. This is not something that you can think about and decide
the light
about.
is real.
Well, her life
and the energy
was real, and the relationship began in that moment. And what I have since now, she is 22. She herself is 22 years old, and she actually lives in the house that she was born into, that I brought her into. She lives there. She just moved back to her childhood home, and all of these things matter, but the relationship between us is one of fire. She's extremely fiery, just by nature, and so there are things like that, if you're sensitive to, that are life affirming all along the way. Maybe we don't quite know why or how this is all happening, but it happened in that instant. And so when you're talking about like the spark and the life, like, I know what that feels like. I know how real that is. And so it's beautiful to hear kind of like this synthesis of the spiritual intuition and wayfinding that we have, and like a scientific, like, here's a scientific tool that you can use to help those things feed your life. It's really beautiful.
Naturally,
scientific.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, please.
The science, right?
Yeah, how did you come up with this? How is this happening?
What's the guy's name?
David Schmidt.
Mm-hmm.
What's his deal? Who is this guy?
Yes, he's such a beautiful soul. My goodness. To me, that's number one. If I'm going to be behind a company, it has to be so heart-centered. And he even says he takes zero credit for coming up with this. It's all downloads he got. Very Christian man, very connected. And so he, 20 years ago, was contracted by the U.S. government to come up with something for the Navy SEALs that were going out to sea for months on end and losing energy and, of course, their mental state as well, because they haven't seen the light of day, right? And so they wanted to come up with something that would help sustain their energy and their mental well-being. And so he put together something that could use your body's own intelligence, light, and really made this, back then it was called the Energy Enhancer, a patch that was created to help them while they're out. And 9/11 happened, so it never got in the hands of the government, which I believe is a good thing, so that then it came to the public. And he really did not want it to be an MLM. He, had a bad taste about it in the beginning.
Does all of us.
A lot, not all, but a lot, for sure.
Anybody that's ever been in an MLM, you know how they go.
Yes.
Look.
I wouldn't say everyone, because I love them. It got me out of nursing. But
Okay,
I
not
think
everyone.
when you find the right product, the right company, the right people,
Yeah.
it's a blessing. And so it got into the hands of the U.S. swim team, and he just started knowing he had his hands on something amazing, and he started making it a word-of-mouth product. And so there is so much science behind this. Light therapy, the fancy name, photobiomodulation, there's over 10,000 studies. If you want to look in PubMed, we know, I as a nurse for 20 years, cardiac critical care nurse, I know the healing powers of the sun for people, but also if a baby, a newborn is born, jaundice, what do?
Right.
We put them in the sun, the light, right? So light therapy, light healing has been around forever. And this man, we all emit light. If I was to go out tonight with you and Sarah, and I put on...
So hold on a sec. Just to put this into a perspective for a word picture, let's just visualize, if we may, so we can conceptualize what you just said.
Right.
We've all seen movies.
Right.
I've had the opportunity to physically look through some stuff called night vision goggles.
Yes.
Okay. But when you've seen those movies on TV, the person's, it's the topography, it's almost like got a green hue to it.
Right.
However, when you see a living being, whether it's an animal or a human being, there is a glow
Yes.
around that person.
Right.
Does that sound about right?
Absolutely.
I think that's a good way to describe the light that you're referring to.
Yes.
If there wasn't a light, then there wouldn't be like a tree. You can still see the tree in the image, but you can tell that it's not alive in that capacity. I mean, it's alive, but you know what I mean?
Right, I do.
You can see that you can see the shadow of it,
Yes.
right? Versus the glow,
Right.
the light.
Absolutely.
Is that
It is. No, that's right on target. So what this patch does is it actually traps our body's light. So it doesn't need to work by us being in the sun. It works just being on our body because as we emit the light, it traps it and sends it back at a certain frequency because in the actual patch is a lattice structure of crystals, amino acids, salts, oxygen, sending the light, our own light, back at a certain frequency. Everything is frequency and energy, right? It's the future of medicine is here. It's not pills and surgery.
so? Wait.
always.
It's not the future of medicine; it's the past of medicine.
Right.
Because
That's
before
coming to the light,
Rockefeller
finally.
and Carnegie ruined medicine with their
Right.
nonsense, medicine actually worked. And
I'm being guarded. I don't know your audience so well.
well, my audience, they get to hear the truth.
Right.
When the evil Rockefeller realized that petroleum oil
Yes.
could create medicines,
Right.
then the way we taught medicine in our universities shifted.
Yes.
And anybody that wanted to even have a conversation like the one you and I are having right now, they would get put in jail.
Or eliminated.
Or
Yes.
or then there's that.
Yes.
So it's not the future; it's actually the past.
Yes, it is.
Now, they didn't have these patches,
Right.
but they had a lot of other modalities
Yes.
that promoted what we're talking about right now.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So we get to be truthful. And if there's somebody in my audience that doesn't agree with what I'm saying, too bad. It's the truth.
Right. Yes. Yes.
I mean, gotta feel for you. If you're so narrow-minded that you're not going to go look at history,
Yes.
what did they do? What did these evil, vile men do?
Hospitals used to put beds out on the top of the roofs because they knew how healing the sun was.
Okay, now
Now we cover ourselves with all this
Yeah.
toxic sunblock. We
Now-
put sunglasses on.
yeah, we are led to believe that when we go to the hospital, that the hospital is there to make us better, and what we need to realize is that it's actually there to make them money.
Absolutely. Keep us
Now, are there
customers
good
for
people
life.
working in hospitals? You were a
I
nurse.
was.
You're not a bad person, I don't think. I mean, you were a
no.
good person. There's a lot of good nurses, a lot of good doctors, but the machine is there to generate money, which, by the way, is why they prescribe so many pills.
Yes.
Can I tell you a story about the sun?
Oh, go ahead.
She's like a little sunflower.
She is.
Yeah.
I do. So I mean, I get teased. I love the desert. I love the southern Utah desert. I just came from there. I was there. I call it my temple, and I was just there last weekend. And people ask me, "How do you seem so young?" And I say, "It's because of the sun. I love the sun. I relish the sun. Like I will go any chance I get to a sandstone, and it literally, like I know I'm clear." That I am recharging my spirit. I can feel that, and I felt that since I was a little girl growing up in Southern California. And so I don't use sunblock, I don't wear sunglasses, and my son goes to a school, and they said, "Oh, we noticed your son doesn't have sunblock," and I said, "I don't use sunblock," and it was this whole thing. Like I had to sign a waiver, not to use sunblock. Anyway, I trust the sun is fundamentally how I feel about that relationship to the sun. And like how I know that, and how anybody, I think there's a lot that we can know. And so what I hear you talking about is just this intuition that I have had, I feel like, for my life.
Yes.
And it's beautiful to be able to share it, but also to have it backed up by research and experience, and to be able to talk break it up into language so that people can understand, because I just have known it,
Yes.
but I haven't, like, to hear you speak about it is just really exciting and fun for me, because I want people to be well. And so I love what you're sharing. It's so beautiful.
Oh, and you too. And I always say, if you want to know the truth, look at animals in nature.
Yes.
What animal hides from the sun?
Well, I mean,
Right.
look,
And what plant,
Truly.
right?
it's the truth. Well, I mean, a cow in the middle of noonday in the panhandle of Texas is going to sit in the shade.
Okay.
But but here's the
Well,
thing.
of course, yes, I will go looking for a
I
shade
mean,
eventually.
we're in a picnic
yeah.
and
We
it's
get
hot as
so
hell outside. I
hot,
mean,
but-
yeah, but then that's going to go back to what is the ultimate for me, right? Since
Yes.
this is my podcast, we're going to hear what I believe,
Yes.
which is God does exist.
Yes.
Okay, God did create all of us, whether you believe it or not. I don't really care. It is
Right.
the truth.
Absolutely.
And that same God also put that sun precisely where He put it.
Yes.
Okay, so then I mentioned the sunflower earlier. They're such cool flowers.
They are.
Right? What are those suns? What do they do?
Turn to the sun.
They follow the sun.
Yes.
Right? You said watch nature. Watch a sunflower.
Right.
Okay, it's follow, and then in the morning, when it left off here at night, and then it'll just go back over
Right.
and pick it up again.
Right.
Because that is the same nourishment that it gives us. She's not using sunblock. Yay!
I know.
Oh wait, you're not.
And you have to sign a waiver not to.
to not. Here's the kicker. To not see, our skin is the largest organ on our body. And what she's saying is she had to, here's the lunacy of what is happening
In this world.
in this world. We talked about earlier that we're set up for failure. You're like, well, okay, we're talking about people with drug addiction issues. Well, that's for the purpose of this podcast, yes. But in life, here you have a mother
Yes.
that knows better than to put those poisons,
Right.
which, by the way, are leaching into her child's body.
Right.
Just so you know.
Cooking in the sun.
Yes. Intensifying it. So just so you know, if there's a mother or father or anybody here in this podcast, that's a poison you're putting on your skin that's
Yes.
leaching into your system that's going to make you not feel good in
Right.
whatever capacity. She says, I'm not doing that. They make her sign a waiver.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
madness.
the same thing is with vaccines. If you choose to opt out, you got to go. You got to take a test. You got to sign.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I am, whether you believe it or not, 8 vaccines with our age, Tony, 6 or 8. They're at 80
Oh my
now,
gosh.
these little
If you look
kids,
at
so-
vaccines that kids were getting back in the day when we were kids,
Yes.
now, of course, yes, I'm older than everybody in this room. They weren't as many. Now, and by the way, speaking of vaccines, really, now we're finding out that evil monster Fauci should be
Yes.
going for war crimes.
Right.
Okay? Now the truth is coming out about that nonsense that they made everybody do
Right.
or tried to.
Right.
And if we didn't do that vaccine, okay, I almost got punched out in a Walmart for not wearing a mask.
Same.
Give me a break.
Yes.
But now, I was country and country wasn't cool. And there wasn't much
Same.
back when I was going to a church. I remember being the only person in the entire place, right? People coming up to me, would you like, no, I don't want a face diaper. Thank you very
Right.
much. I'm not going to do that nonsense, right? Now, of course, there's very few people wearing masks, but nonetheless, that's a vaccine
Right.
that made them billions with a B.
Yes.
I talked with a doctor who said that she was given money or would have received money.
Absolutely. All pediatricians get money if they follow the schedule. So why do you think your pediatrician is
Yeah.
upset when you don't want to give X, Y, and Z?
Cha-ching.
Right. They lose money.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately, that's the system we're part of.
So now what we're going to do is talk about,
Well,
everything.
let me just say
Yeah.
also the patches, red hair, freckle face, that's my family, my kids, myself. And these patches, because they elevate copper, also in our body, which is very healing, very important for the body, helps with inflammation. You will notice that you don't burn. And so it's amazing, just even that transition. I know burning could be, toxins in the body and other stuff, but just that's one other thing. And I'll just say on a side note, I'm not making medical claims here, or it's not meant to treat, diagnose, or prevent anything, but
Disclaimer.
also protection of 5G with the body because it creates a Faraday cage copper, right?
Okay,
So-
wait. For those of you that don't know what a Faraday cage, there was a man by the name of Faraday who came up with a philosophy,
Right.
because we really can't prove it, although I do
Right.
believe. So if we get a solar,
Muscle test.
if we get a nuclear an EMP, the Faraday cage will protect your items, your truck. If you put a big enough Faraday cage, that electromagnetic pulse,
Right.
it'll be protected. Very similar to a solar flare,
Right.
right? The Faraday cage, right? So
Yes.
what you're suggesting then is that the patch is almost like
Protecting us
the
from
force
these-
field that I talked about on Starship Enterprise
Yes.
when the Klingons were out there pissed off, right? We have one of those
Right.
with the
Correct.
patch.
Yes.
Where'd you?
It goes
where-
deep, all
I
this
mean,
that
can you
it
see
does
that?
for your body.
That you can't. For those of you that can see her, she's actually got a tinfoil hat on.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I wear it proud.
Yeah. I do as well.
Can I ask, how did you go from nursing to this? What happened?
Multi-level
Yeah.
marketing.
Well, that was my vehicle, but what caused me to want out was
Yes.
because I felt from a very early age, I did want health healing for this world. I felt I had an addiction eating disorder for 20 years. I battled that, but I was always very health conscious, as oxymoron as that is. But
I have that history as well. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
just because you're
wow.
not actually practicing
Yeah.
it doesn't mean you can't think. it.
right,
Yeah.
right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know it's wrong, and then you live with guilt and shame. Yes,
Well, I think that disordered eating is for me, it was a process of purification.
absolutely.
It was an awareness that like something is not right. Like there's like something poisonous going on for me with food, and so I'm so grateful for that journey because it was like this hyper awareness that
Yes.
purged stuff that I wasn't like conscious of, but my
Right.
body was doing stuff. Like
Yes.
I don't see it as this terrible thing. It's a process that I'm grateful for. So I understand.
Absolutely. And I feel when you're in a space of recovery, you're that much more connected and tapped in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a very sensitive body.
Right.
And so 2000, they made me, I was a nurse in New York City, Cornell Presbyterian. They voted me out of this huge hospital to be the flu shot champion. Go around and vaccinate the whole hospital and staff, including myself. I was poisoned. I felt so sick for so long. And I promised me and God, I was like, I will never, ever do that to myself again.
Yeah.
And so that was 2000. 2008, I was pregnant with my first son, and they came around with swine flu. Here we come again. We want the nurses, staff, get vaccinated. And I said, to my husband, I said, if I have to lose my job over this, I will. After what that did to me in 2000, I will never do that again. So somehow I slipped under the radar. 2017. But since this, I was going down the rabbit hole deep because I was like, what is this? How did I get so sick? And so I started uncovering a lot of lies and darkness and evil. And so 2017, I was, an electrophysiology nurse, so all energy frequency with the heart in New Jersey. And out comes that email in September. We recommend staff, everybody get their flu vaccine. And then I was like, okay, I'm good. They recommend. December comes another email. We did not meet our quota. So if you do not get it, you'll no longer have any future bonus raise or anything.
Wow.
And so
Didn't meet our quota, meaning we didn't reach the level that we told these people we would get so they could be making that much money.
Exactly. So they don't get the money from...
So if they're not making enough money, they're not going to give us the bonus money that they told us they were going to give us.
Correct.
We don't really give a shit about you or your life and how sick it's going to make you.
It wasn't even like put a mask on, protect your patients.
No, what we're saying to you is, and they're not hiding it. We didn't make our quota. A quota.
Right.
What? Damn.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. So now you're being told, now you must. We're not asking, now we're telling you because we didn't reach our numbers.
Absolutely. So at that point, thankfully, I was with an MLM, and my goal was to get out of nursing because I just was so frustrated with another pill, another surgery. But why? Why is this happening for this patient? And so I just was able to say, you know what? I'm good. Keep your shots, your vaccines, your money. I'm out of here. And so...
Wonderful.
I went on this whole, I really believe God brought me on this journey of there's big things for you.
Yes.
And I did not, as a nurse, I did not want to speak out of what I knew because I know they hate and the pushback.
Yeah.
I had all my social media content wiped clean, thousands of followers because I really started speaking out on what I was finding. And
you started telling the
truth.
Yeah.
And they don't like the truth.
They don't like the truth. It's been my experience that the people that have the biggest problem with the truth are the ones that are furthest from it.
Right.
Right?
It's so
Which
true.
is why these crooks are screaming with what Doge is doing right now, right? Because, well, they're getting exposed.
Right.
They've been living on that dime, well, those billions of times for a long time.
Right.
I mean, how does, say, I don't know, Nancy Pelosi,
right?
Ooh, I said her name. Making, what is it, $192,000 a year? How is she worth, how many millions that she's worth?
Yeah, yes.
To her investments, right? I mean, and I'm just going to, why are we sending, $4.6 million to the flight patterns or the migratory, sex change for these birds or whatever stupid crap that we're sending this money to? Is it really going to that, or is it coming right back to someplace over here? Okay?
Absolutely.
But the entire system, everywhere we turn, is set up for us to fail.
System, education system, medical system.
All of it.
Judicial
everywhere we turn. Now, what I'm going to focus in on is, in this next podcast, is what's happening with these people with addictions, because that's what this whole podcast is for.
Well, let's just get back really quickly, because it absolutely, I believe, brings us back to our God-given DNA. So with the traumas, with the addictions, with that, you know what I'm saying, with the anxiety and depression, just living in that fear-based, controlled mind, it starts bringing light back into the body, back to our natural state. I even believe when I first started it, I'll just really quick, I was feeling so angry. So I was the good little girl that just suppressed everything because my house was out of control and I didn't want to disrupt it anymore. And so I literally just, even though I was angry, I just pushed it down and shoved it down and shoved it down. And where my liver suffers. And I always get told, your liver needs healing, help. And so I believe it was like spring cleaning in my body. It was like, let's get this anger out of here. So possibly in the beginning when you started getting sick, possibly, I know there was stuff going on around. It could have been, yes, your body was cleaning stuff, your immune system, all of that.
I started that detox.
Detox.
That one I think was really,
Yes.
So, yeah. But listen, you can't make this stuff up.
2 years of being this, miracles. Kids that were nonverbal, speaking again, autism, not riding bikes, no motor skills, now riding bikes, swinging.
Well, see, and that's what
I never saw that as a nurse.
That's what I was expecting. I was expecting something physical.
Okay.
Like your father got.
Yes.
I had all these things happening, and now they aren't happening.
Right.
This is what I was expecting. And so if you're listening, don't try to say what you're going to get from this.
Yes.
Right? Just accept what you're going to get from this, which is what I got. Once again,
be open.
Well,
yes.
on Monday morning of literally this week,
Yes.
I woke up after restarting the patch saying, wait, this is something.
My husband can relate. He says the
Something's
same.
different here. I mean, and it's different in a very good way,
Yes.
right? Um, a- and interestingly enough, I'm talking to my therapist this morning saying to her, I don't know why.
Hmm.
In this conversation, I'm like, oh, stop it. Wait,
Yes.
hold on. This happened on Monday. You were taking these patches with regularity for,
Yes.
well, I don't know, 6, 8 weeks, whatever it was. Then you stopped because you got sick, and then you started 4 or 5 days ago.
Right.
This was on Monday, right? Because I started, I think, on Wednesday or Thursday.
Yes.
And then I wake up Monday thinking, oh, this is kind of freaking groovy. I kind of like this.
Well, that is one thing I thought with your
Yeah.
business, your company, is because if we can help people
Yeah.
just mentally calm the chatter, live
Yeah.
in more peace.
Okay, calm the chatter.
Yes.
Huh. I know what you just said. You said, get out of your head
Mm-hmm.
and
More into
to
your
your heart. We've said this. How many times have we said that? Right? Get out of your head and get into your heart. If we lead with our heart, it's going to be okay. It's always been okay.
Absolutely.
It's always been okay. It's never not been okay because,
Right.
well, you're breathing and you're blinking, ain't you?
Yes.
I mean, you're here,
Right.
right? What I get to do now, right, is take this experience to the folks at Beecon Recovery. And anybody that knows anything about Beecon Recovery knows that the owner of Beecon Recovery really isn't afraid of trying stuff. I'm
Yes.
not afraid.
Yes.
I will take advantage as the founder of this company of anything and everything, right? And I will also be the guinea pig,
Right.
like I was with neurofeedback, with ketamine,
Which is amazing.
with I mean, seriously, I've been the guinea pig with these patches, and I am now. Oh my gosh, I got my own tinfoil hat,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because I lived it.
Yes.
You know, when I was a medic in the Army, I worked in a teaching hospital. We had a motto. They had a motto: see one, do one, teach one.
Mm-hmm.
You have to experience it.
Right.
Okay. Impact training with the folks over at Impact. We had a previous podcast. It's called experiential learning.
Right.
And this is real life. So
Absolutely.
thank you
Yes.
for and by the way, I don't know if you all can tell from the way she talks, you definitely sound like you're from the East Coast. I mean, and it's not a bad thing. You guys got
I'm
this.
trying to lose it. It's
No, it's don't try to lose it. It's perfect, right?
Okay.
But I want to thank you. I want to thank you for taking the time. We're going to talk about when you're going to need to come up because you
Yes.
got to come up.
Absolutely. I want to.
Yeah, well, it's a must,
Yes.
right? But thank you for having the wherewithal to recognize way back in the day.
Yes.
Wait a minute, something's not right here.
Right.
And I think if more of us, I don't want to have to sign a waiver for my kid to not wear
Yes.
sunscreen.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine to sign the waiver.
Well,
I mean, well, it was really.
but that's not the point, Sarah.
No, well, it is and it isn't. I mean, we have to start somewhere, and I think that those of us who can sense and who have the blessing of being able to get that information, that intuition, and act on it, can do it first. And then the more people who do it, the more people will do it, because I'm not confused. And I want to recognize that there are many people who are confused,
Yeah.
Well, actually,
who can't,
there are
who don't
more
know
people that are
what
confused.
to hear.
Most of us are confused. Very few of us are standing up, but we're gathering momentum.
Yes.
We're bonding and we're coming together, not by accident.
Right.
Okay, because you stood up and you said, no, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
And I don't mind signing your waiver, but that's not the point. The point is that you had to bloody well freaking sign a waiver.
Yeah, and I think that those kinds of things, I mean, maybe there will be someone who hears this story, right, who also
Yes.
is a mother and thinks like, maybe
That's
I don't
it.
really need to do that. Because I was clear always, like, this is just not, my body doesn't want this. And
Yes.
you talked
Like that
earlier about,
sensitive, like
yes,
knowing.
that sensitive
Yes.
body. Yeah, and I want to tell you how many times I have just absolutely had chills throughout this podcast, and tell you thank you so much,
Yes.
because
So
it's really like there are many people who don't have that sensitive body, and we're talking about people in addiction and who are in pursuit of recovery. And I love that both of you are addressing the body, because there are reasons why people in addiction can't go from the head to the heart. They literally can't, and they need help. They need support.
That's right.
And I think, and this is another sense that I've always had. I've been in recovery almost 20 years. It will be 20 years on May 24th.
Oh, beautiful.
And so I could, like, I had that sensitivity, and I knew the body is a part of this. And I think so often in recovery, we get stuck just in talking about stuff and thinking about stuff, and the body has been ignored. 20 years ago, when I was first in recovery, none of this stuff was talked about.
Yeah.
Nutrition wasn't talked about. Exercise wasn't talked about. Ourselves
Sunlight.
as spirit, as light,
Yes.
this wasn't really talked about. There are hints of it in Alcoholics Anonymous, which I think is really beautiful, and I definitely gravitated towards that. But to like actually literally give the body help, which is what I hear that these patches are doing. Like, they're giving the body help until this, you can trickle down into the heart and start to feel these things for yourself. But it almost feels like jump-starting the body's sensitivity, so that people who are truly lost and at war with their bodies, the addiction is war with the body. You're at war with your body. Like people who generationally, not just them, but their parents and their parents have been at war with the body. Crystal meth is like, you just keep taking it so that you can work.
Yes.
And you're not allowed to have sensitivity. Sensitivity gets you dead.
Right.
And so,
And I wonder, I don't know your thoughts, but addicts, do most of them have that sensitivity where almost the world's too much?
Well, they know.
They're so that
So
they have to like almost numb because it's...
Yes, and we know.
Yes, I would love,
Even
because
though
you're the expert.
even though in the back of our minds, we all do know that this needle we're about to put on our arm or whatever, we know this is a no-go, but we're
Right.
doing it anyways. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, if you have any level of sense, I'm talking to our
Okay.
listeners, as I
Yes.
point to think.
she's like,
He's like,
where?
who's over there? You're thinking, wait, okay, this sounds really wonderful. Now the burning question is, why haven't you asked already, how do they get it? What do we do? How can they contact you and say, I heard you on the Beacon of Light podcast? And
Yes, well, I was thinking for Tony, because they could reach out to me directly.
They can reach out to you. Oh, okay, here we go with this
I wasn't-
MLM thing. This is not a money thing for me.
Right.
Now, if you want to
This is
sign these
your-
people up underneath me personally,
Right.
then I can take those funds that I'll make from this
And move it in.
and move it into Beacon, which is exactly what I
Yes.
would do.
I would
right?
love that.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
my mission.
So they can
follow your
contact-
mission, and your commission will come that
They-
you can
yeah, I
pour
mean,
back into your people.
Look, I'm good.
I know you are.
Yeah, but I will take that money, and I will take, if I make any money.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, when I
Yes,
make
I love
money.
it.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Yes.
I get there.
I want to hear that line one more time. You said, follow your mission. I want to hear people to
Follow
hear that.
your mission, and the commission will follow.
I like that.
Which means
What's
listen to your
meaning
spirit.
and purpose?
Yeah. And
Why are you here on this
that's
earth?
what is the purpose of me being on this planet.
Yes.
Okay. Why am I here?
What did you go through? All you went through.
Right.
For this
So,
moment.
what they're going to do is they're going to contact you at the number you're about to say,
Yes.
and the email that you're about to give them, and then you're going to put it on the screen as
Yeah.
well. When you edit this, you're going to put the same information like on the bottom of the screen as well.
Sure.
What is that? How does that work?
Yeah, so you could either email me at dianehuntlifewave@gmail.com and just include that you heard it through this podcast. Or you could also call me 917-748-9510.
Yeah, and then promo code
Beacon.
Beacon of Light Podcast, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then when that happens, you do whatever it is you do. And, you know, here's the thing that all you people that are listening get to know. When I started doing this, because I met your father on a Friday, we met the following Sunday at some
Yes.
place, right?
Black Rifle. Right?
Yeah. Since then, you have, if I contact you, you contact me back.
Yes.
that's the way it's always been.
Absolutely.
Right? So don't think that she's giving you the number and then, now you may be in a podcast when I've seen your phone going off like a pinball machine.
I know.
Right? That's okay. No. What I'm saying is whatever is happening on your phone,
Yes.
I guarantee what's going to happen, like say with my phone, when this is over, I'll get to it.
Yes.
So if you contact her and she doesn't answer straight away, I can assure you she will get back to you when she finishes doing her podcast.
Absolutely.
Or whatever it is you're doing.
And for anybody, this company has been around for 20 years. It's all over the world. It's in 80 countries. It's gone in the past 4 years because X39 is the patch that I feel everybody starts with. And what I just want to say is in the 4 years it came to fruition. So it came out 4 years ago, right around the same time, since we've been so open. The vaccines, the darkness of COVID has come out.
Yeah.
I believe it's God's way of saying, you want to bring the dark? I got the light. And the company went from 20 million. We're projected this year, in 5 years, it'll be $1 billion.
So
with the growth of this product because it works.
Wait a minute.
More chills. More chills.
Another burning question.
Okay.
How much?
Yes.
How much is it?
So for
what is it going to cost me to do this in a 1 month period of time?
1 month, $99.95.
Wait a minute.
I know.
So $100 in 1 month is what this is going to cost me. Now look, it would behoove whoever you are to just let that sink in for a sec. If what we're saying is true, and I know for a fact because I've lived it, it is true. Your father's lived it. You got kids who couldn't ride bikes that now can. All these, and there's somewhere they can go, a website where they can see all this stuff. Is there a website they can go to? Other than what you just gave, because you gave an email, is there a website they can go to look at some of this stuff and some of these testimonials that you're talking about?
So I recommend you going for all the information on it. Go to thisitinfo.com.
Okay, this is it, one thing.
This is it, info, all one word, .com.
Then you're going to see. Now, if these things are true, and we know that they are,
yes,
you can't tell me you can't do, $300 worth of your money. You know what? Skip a steak dinner for the week.
Well, you know what I was thinking is you could just skip your energy drink. People probably spend $3 a day on energy drinks.
Right?
I'm sorry. Yes, a cup of coffee is
really
at Starbucks or something is like $7. I think bottled water now is like $3.50.
If you weren't worth doing a 3 to 6 month experiment of $300 to $600, then turn this off. Right? Now that those people are gone,
yes,
we're gonna go to the people that have a sense about them and are gonna say, I'm worth enough to invest $100 a month just to see if this is actually true.
Right.
Because we just got rid of the idiots that are saying I can't afford to give myself $100 a month.
And that's what I say. This is what I say. I am not leaving this earth with a diaper on. I'm leaving with my boots on, knowing my name. And so
now wait.
I'll be proactive for $3.50 a day, just so I remember who I am and I leave here dancing with my girls.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I know what you're thinking, Sarah, because everybody out there is thinking the same thing. This is MLM. What's my startup cost? Oh, come on. I'm ready. What is it? What is the upfront fee because you know what they do. They're always going to say, give me $600 for your kit.
Yes.
What's that cost here? What is the startup cost?
Well, I just want to say I recommend everybody start with the mindset that I'm investing in myself. And so commit, not try. Take that word out of your vocabulary. So commit to at least however old you are, that many decades, because like we said, my dad, who's 80-something, it took him 4 months.
So I asked the question because I don't remember giving you a startup fee.
You didn't, because when you come in at a 3-month, a 6-month, there's no startup fee, but you're investing in yourself, and it's $99.95 a month. So
you mentioned the word try.
So 3 months for you was what, $295?
Dang.
I mean,
it hurt. Really.
That's it.
To invest. Oh, yeah. That $300 that I put into my future, I'm being kind of a smart ass.
Okay.
Right now. It didn't sting.
Wait.
I mean, it's worth it.
It is.
I'm worth it. To at least give it a go.
Yes.
And give it a shot. I mean, let's try.
Yes.
Right? Because.
Not try. Let's commit.
Commit.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Try. if I try to pick up your purse, right? You're right. Give it a go. I did give it a go. It's worth it. We are worth it. And I can assure you that we're going to make up a schedule for you to come up,
Yes.
and we're going to talk about, unfortunately, we're going to have to get them to sign waivers and
Yes.
blah, blah, blah,
Right.
stuff. But if they want to try it, if they want to give it a go,
Right.
right, we'll do what we can to make it affordable
And
for
for
them.
those that really want to try, quote, quote, I say the company even offers a 3-month money back guarantee. So you could, do you know any other
I didn't
companies
know
that
that.
ever offer that?
Wait, really?
No, for a preferred customer, you are looking at it to bring into your center. But somebody
Well,
that
I was thinking maybe I want to get my money back. That $300 that stung me
no.
so bad when I gave up
But
that $300.
some people, that is like the only hook that
Yeah.
because they're very skeptical.
Yeah.
The company would be bankrupt if they stood
Gave
by
back
this.
everybody's money.
Yes,
They
because it
wouldn't
didn't work.
Yeah.
So
That
that's
means
huge.
it probably does work because you're
Yes.
right. If they put that out there
Yes.
and everybody says you guys are up in the night,
Yes.
right? It didn't work for me. I want my money back.
Yes.
They would say, okay,
It
well
would be out
here.
of business like that.
Yeah. It's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I think we've covered
I
everything.
think so.
Okay.
This was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so
So,
much.
Diane,
Yeah.
thank you for coming. How do we end this? We haven't really.
We say thank you. Diane, thank you so much.
We
Thank
already
you for
did that though.
Thank you for sharing the light.
Oh, you didn't say thank you. I said thank you.
Thank you for sharing the light that you are so tapped into. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's what this is for. That's what Beacon of Light is for.
Yes.
Is to share the light of information that we do not have.
Wow.
So
Thank you for bringing Sarah into my life too.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I
beautiful.
like it
Yeah.
though. You're talking about the light that's in us, and she's talking about beacon of light.
Well, that's
Not
why
a
I said when I
coincidence. Yeah,
looked
yeah.
it up, I was
Yeah.
like, what is actually the meaning of beacon?
Yeah.
So I had to look it up, and I was like, I get God wings all the time, and that was a huge God wing for me. Where I
Yeah.
was like, okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Thank
now we
you.
get to have a little bit more of a direct podcast that's going to be different, and it's not going to be good.